Hey guys, PMR here today. On this episode, we're discussing Shazam. I just saw Shazam last night, and the only thing I could think about was how much it was a fucking waste of my time. So I know you guys have seen Shazam 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It was.
So agree, disagree, what?
No, waste of time is too harsh. We're seeing once. Never again, probably not. No, but
Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it again. I mean, maybe if it's on Netflix, but for me, it was a fun watch. But like what bothered me the most is when he talks about the kid that's worthy, right? And you're actually rooting more for the kid in the car, like who's gonna end up being the villain. You end up rooting more for that kid in that beginning scene of him wanting him to be worthy because his dad's a piece of shit, like his brother was a piece of shit. You're actually rooting for that kid more than Billy Batson.
I agree, because the whole time I was saying it is, the whole time I was thinking, the entire movie, we never really got to know Billy Batson, and at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck about Billy Batson.
All we know about Billy Batson is that his mom loses him, right?
Yeah.
And then he gives no reason as to why he gets chosen. Okay,
no reason.
Shazam, literally, you want to know how he gets chosen? Is because the actual original Shazam guy was like, well, you're my last fucking option. I'll pick you now. He gives no reason why. Why is this kid worthy? There's no worthiness.
He's no different from any other kid. What makes Billy Batson special from any other kid?
Because the Wizard was desperate and he beat up the bullies right then and there. It was lucky. Yes, I get it. I get what you're saying.
No.
I'm not saying, but we knew
Beating
something
up
about
bullies
him.
doesn't mean, come on.
That's what happened. He beat up the bullies and then he was picked.
How many kids in America beat up bullies every day? How many
know.
soldiers get deployed across the seas? How many Marines deal with way more difficult experiences? What makes Billy Batson, a 14-year-old kid, so special?
There's nothing special
It
about
really wasn't
Nothing.
anything specific towards that character. Why? Yeah, it was kind of just.
it.
I think it was a desperation thing, right? The bad guys already, the demons are already gone.
Exactly.
So, fine. You got
But there's no better representation of Billy. Nothing other than he sticks up for a kid who's a crippled, who's getting his ass beat. Of course, who wouldn't do that? You know what I mean? Like
the other people in the scene, but
yeah, but at the same time,
Billy was all right. Was he the best? No. Even at the end, I don't think he was that great. But
okay, when you look at the source material, though, you realize, okay, yes, this is how the character was created by the writers. When Shazam, the actual character, or Captain Marvel, whatever character entity you want to go by, this is what they made it as: a child who gets the powers. But what the filmmakers failed to do was make me give a shit as the audience. I did not give a shit about Billy Batson. I don't even know Billy Batson. And at the end of the day, I don't really care about him. I just want to see Shazam on screen, which shouldn't be the case. I should be rooting for both, and I should be equally invested.
I care more about his brother.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Freddy.
When Freddy became a hero at the end, I was more stoked about the fact that he was a hero and like he's a true at heart type of hero guy, like with a true what's the word? Like the heroic characteristic of like believing in society, believing in the positivity and shit. Like when he became a hero and you see him, you're like, oh fuck yeah! Like now he can actually walk, fly, kick ass, all that type of shit because you cared about this kid. Billy Batson, I was just like, this kid's an asshole, and he wants to find his mom. Like, yes, sad story, but I was rooting more for the other fucking guy.
I get it. Normally in the stories, it's the character sucks in the beginning, does something heroic, then gets better. And this one's a little weird because he got chosen because he's chosen, but he was still shitty then. Mm-hmm. So I get what you're saying. I still like Billy enough. I think we could have done more. But by the end of the movie, he was definitely becoming the more heroic type, accepting his family. He got over. He did go through the process of finding out his mom eventually. Now he's like, okay, she really screwed me on this. So they'll bump her and let me go on to my real family. I like that. That was characterization.
I agree.
Could have been better, yes, but Billy was fine enough for this lighthearted movie.
Sure. And once you evaluate it in the lens of, okay, this is a movie for kids at the end of the day because it's WB, this is who we need to market to. We need to market to the kids to get the most money. It wasn't an in-depth character study on Billy Batson. I get that. All we're saying is it's hard to believe that this wizard who's been searching for so many people for so many
thousands of years
couldn't come up with a better person than Billy Batson. That's all I'm saying.
Because he kicked a guy with a crutch.
Yeah.
And he gets chosen. Yeah. No, it's because he's on his ass. He's like, shit, I just lost. and also, what I don't understand is, how did he have any power left? He was running out of power, the wizard, and he uses, to me, in my perception, is he uses all his power to try to fight them off, and they leave. His power is no longer like valid. His power was being used to contain them. Now they're gone. How does he transfer the power of Shazam over to him when it seemed like he was defeated?
Sure, he was losing power for years, it seemed like. Fine, he just had enough juice left in the tank to get power up, I guess. He did die right after. He's gone.
Okay, well, or how about this? Billy Batson, his 14-year-old mind, thought up of hey, let me just create more superheroes in the way that my wizard did for me. Why couldn't the wizard do it? The whole time he's pointing behind him to these empty thrones. Why couldn't he bring 7 motherfuckers in, hold
true.
my staff, let me create an army
That's
of
true.
Shazam motherfuckers?
Because it's not like Billy's related to any of them.
Yeah.
They're all strangers.
Why
so
couldn't the wizard do it?
Why not just stick him on the stick? I don't get it.
What?
If you wanted...
Shazam's referencing the whole time about the power of the siblings, the power of the people, the thrones behind him, and that's what Billy thinks of. Oh, finally, my brothers and sisters, but they're not actually blood relatives, and all he has to do is say my name. Which, by the way, that was the funniest part of the entire movie. By the way, say my name, Billy. So I get laughing so hard. No, we gotta get that way.
The point is, why couldn't the wizard just do that to create an army?
I don't get it.
Okay, they didn't say this overtly, however, everything's implied, possibly, that those kids, the 5 other ones,
are worthy?
Were worthy as well.
Oh, so only orphan kids are worthy.
No, only orphan
kids are worthy.
No.
Okay,
And
but what made them worthy? Because they were fighting off bad guys? Who wouldn't be fighting off bad guys?
Because
Trying to kill
his
you?
family worried about Billy, so they were kind of getting connected in a way.
And
yeah, this is all vague. No, this is my guess, you know.
Sure,
yeah, Again, we're talking about a movie that's truly meant for a preteen mind or a high school hero. Yes, the logic of they were worthy and them fighting off. But the reality is these are 5 random kids in the entire world and Shazam's been looking for years and years and years and years. And now all of a sudden this happened to be group of kids all together happens to all be worthy at the same time.
Yes.
And if you're gonna say that only kids from age X to X are worthy because they have the purest of hearts, then actually tell me that in the story. Don't let me infer that. It was just poor build up throughout. And on top of that, not only did I not care about the character, Billy Batson, I just wanted to see, Zac Levi be Shazam just because of how cool he was. But I did not give 2 shits about the villain. And that's what WB fails to do in all their movies. Every single one. You take characters like Thanos, where we actually give a shit about, and then you have a great movie. Because why?
Well, what made you give a shit about Thanos?
Because they actually invested the time to build him up and give his motivations of why. You can't tell me.
I don't think they didn't invest the time in the villain.
They invested the time, but I just didn't think. I think it was just standard. He's pissed off.
Exactly, but there was no reason why.
Like Thanos, okay, he's got this
Thanos
philosophy.
Purpose and
his
mindset.
Purpose is to do this, and he's invested so much time over the movies and years. So you feel for him, even though you disagree with him. You're still like, oh, I get why he's doing it. This guy was just pissed off.
Okay, so this doctor, this doctor didn't like his dad and his brother.
Yeah,
that was it. That's the only thing that
he was chasing back the dream.
I get magic. Yeah, I'm chasing for the whole life for my magic. I get magic. All of a sudden now, you know what? I'm gonna decide to be a murderous villain and kill my dad on the spot, my brother on the spot. I just don't buy it. Look at Justice League with Steppenwolf, garbage. Why? Because Steppenwolf was just a guy. And that was it. He was just a guy. That guy.
That's our point.
Exactly. That's my point.
Oh, damn it!
That's my point.
Damn it! You got a point.
You take great movies that WB has done, like The Dark Knight, and you look at the movie. Hey, we have Batman.
Okay, no.
Hold on. Let me finish. We have Batman and the Joker in The Dark Knight because it's a 50% of the equation. Both characters are, even though you don't know Joker's origin, they take the time to build up his characterization. Unlike they do, because they just don't present.
You're saying there's not enough scenes and content that include the villain, whether it's not an origin, it's just not even showing him being a villain. Like,
why?
Yeah.
And
at the end of the day, Joker's such an iconic character that we all know who he is, so you have that backstory. With Shazam, the source material is not that widespread to where people even know who Shazam is. Ask anyone on the street, hey, do you know who Shazam is? They probably don't even know him unless they saw the TV ad, unless they saw the movie, unless their kids went up to him and said, yeah, hey, let's go watch this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but again, what you're failing to forget is, what you're forgetting is that the movie is meant for a younger adult film. They don't see the purpose or the importance of the 50-50 and build up of the villain. They do just
I get it.
They do validate on anger, and that's it. Anger and revenge.
And maybe that's what they're going for because that's their
because
target
this kid never grew
because
up.
they want to make the damn money.
The villain has been living in the mindset of his 14-year-old self back then when his brother blames him, his dad's a piece of shit, and he's been living in this mindset of that for 35 years, or however old this guy is, and that's all that's driving him, which is anger.
But it's a little shallow still. I mean, they could
is
have
shallow,
shown
but-
it and presented a little
but
more
for me, I think there's more
characterization
issues with the
instead.
movie.
I'm kid looking for this, and then I'm a pissed off adult, and I killed my family. Boom, that's it.
Yeah, but
why? What else has happened to him? Why is he doing what he's doing? Why is he so invested in this power? I mean, has he lived a life consistently a failure to this point? Because he seemed like a powerful dude even before he had the magic. You know, so exactly what is he doing? That's my thing. As far as I get it. It's for high schoolers, you say, but I think it's for everybody.
I don't think we need an in-depth villain to. For me, there was bigger issues with the movie than the villain part. The villain I felt was enough exactly what any typical fucking, not Disney, but as in young adult crowd film does, which is create a villain based on stupid revenge and anger and power.
So there's no story when you have an awesome hero who has been built up with the proper time investment, the proper characterization. You know his motives, you know what makes him tick, you know his flaws. But then this other guy who is part of the conflict, and let's be real, that's what drives good movies is conflict. This other guy, we have no idea who he is or what he wants to do, you know, other than he's just bad because he wants to be bad.
I don't think we think superhero movies are great when it includes a great villain. I think superhero movies are great because the superhero itself is that great, even if the villain's bad.
Partly the superhero, but also the villain. Look at the great villain movies. You got Loki. We know exactly why he does everything he does. Okay, look at Black Panther, Killmonger. His motivations, what he wants to do, his justifications for everything. You actually feel for that villain. That was a great movie. You got Thanos, obviously, we already discussed. These are all greatly written villains, where this villain just was bad because he literally says the line. He literally says it to the wizard. Oh, and guess what? My heart is not pure. Boom. That's it. That's the only explanation. He just said, I'm just built this way to be bad.
Okay, Iron Man 1. Great movie, in my opinion. Do you remember the villain really?
Alright, that was a great movie just because
the superhero was that
Robert
fucking
Downey
good.
Jr. being Robert Downey Jr.
Iron Man 1 is probably what stamped one of the hallmarks of Marvel.
Would you put Shazam on the same caliber as Iron Man 1?
No, but I'm saying because the bigger issue is this Shazam stuff that we're talking about. Billy Batson we're talking about. We fucking love Tony Stark and love his story and love all that. It makes the fact that the villain was underwhelming okay.
But Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark, so he fills those gaps in that equation.
Yeah,
Billy Batson, this kid does not.
That's my point. That is the greater issue. Us making it.
Sure, it's a greater
You're saying,
issue.
oh, name a bad superhero movie or name a good superhero movie with a shitty villain, but that's not. That is because the superhero movie is just the superhero is that good. Like I don't think it has anything to do with the villain. Yes, of course, like a Thanos, a Killmonger. Yes, it adds more value. But I don't think the equation is impossible to create a good superhero movie just because the villain isn't that great. I think you can still make a great one.
Yeah, but it takes Robert Downey Jr. type, not Billy Batson.
Right, so that's the
or a
bigger
Zac
issue.
Levi, which he was good. I'm not giving.
Zac Levi was awesome.
Yeah,
I think he fucking nailed it perfectly. But there wasn't when it regards to the way it was filmed, he did exactly what he needed to do with what he was provided. There wasn't any big major him coming to his power realization of realizing what he was capable of and his true scope of what Shazam truly is. There was no major big grand fight. It was a lot of flying around, distractions, and there was no real true coming of boom, I'm Shazam.
You want to know what I was thinking about the whole time at the carnival? The only thing I was thinking about was, holy shit, this is taking way too long. What are we even doing here? I was thinking
just
this
running
is
around,
slow as
chasing
balls.
each other.
That's it. That carnival sequence was so
and
outside.
the bad kids, the bullies being on the ride. Oh my god, I couldn't do it.
Why?
Because it's convenient. You want to get into the argument on convenient? It's just convenient.
The bullies happen to be on the carnival
so
ride.
What? It looked like a bumping carnival. I'd go.
No.
On top of that, I guess, you know, they addressed the cop in the very first scene of the movie to kind of negate the fact that cops don't ever show up any other time in the fucking movie.
I had the same idea.
Yeah.
30 minutes, I was like, oh, where are the cops?
I didn't even think about that.
Out of everybody who's filming all these kids and Shazam fighting all these monsters, not one of them take the time to dial 911.
It was like 15 minutes.
It was the whole time I'm thinking this scene is slow as balls, but on top of that, the cops never showed once.
Look at Shazam's flying through the city all the way over there. There's still no, like, anything.
Nope. And then the civilians and the newscasters, oh, just thank you for your help. Okay, bye, and they walk away.
Yeah, but they live in a world where these things are somewhat normal.
Superman,
now.
Batman are already in this world.
Okay.
I get it. I want to know how I get it because it was so pointed to and outdone and marketed towards. This is Superman. This is Batman. This is Aquaman.
Actually,
it was
you know
way
what?
too
That
much.
made me.
I didn't mind that.
What city is this based out of that they're not
That
around?
is what I was going to bring up. Okay,
New
so
York,
you got
I think.
Metropolis and Gotham, but then in Shazam it's Philadelphia.
So my bad, yeah.
It's Philadelphia. So are there real cities with fake cities in this DCU? I don't know. Shazam in Philadelphia, or I don't know comics, but it's just odd to me that Philadelphia exists in the same place that Metropolis and Gotham exist. I don't know.
It's the same universe, and it does. There is comic book references out there that state where exactly on the map this Metropolis or Gotham City would be. It's all in the same vicinity, if I remember correctly. I'll have to look it up in the Northeast. You know,
because according to BBS, Gotham and Metropolis are the same city.
Exactly, right across the river. Which also
Are they really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Batman versus Superman. That's right.
Like Luther can like see into Gotham. Like
I can't tell
I'm
you.
like, oh my gosh.
All right,
that is convenience as a mother.
Okay, but to lighten it up though, I was entertained a lot. I laughed a lot. Like the fucking him in they're up flying in the city. He's like, what? And he's like, I can't hear you. Like every other movie, they finally made light of how stupid that is when people are a fucking mile away and the villain's talking and like as if they could hear the villain, and then they make light of that. That shit made me laugh.
Like I said,
most jokes landed for me. I mean, I didn't laugh at everything, but it was funny.
I thought it was entertaining. Sure. I thought it was a breath of fresh air in the sense of a different take on a superhero coming to light, and it's a guy just not taking it seriously. Kind of like, honestly, kind of like Hancock. Hancock was a great concept. A bad hero.
I'm not putting Hancock and great in the same movie.
Concept.
Or same sentence.
Concept. I'm just talking about concept. A guy who's a hero, but he's a bad one. Not isn't a bad guy, but just bad at being a hero. And this guy is like, just going around taking photos, taking selfies, trying to make money. He's literally in his suit.
Well, because
with
he's a
the
kid.
Exactly, but that's what I'm saying. It's a breath of fresh. It's like just a change of pace because we're so used to the Infinity Wars, the Thor Ragnarok, the Black Panther, these grown, mature heroes. But finally, we just see a kid who's like, all right, fuck it, I'm gonna go make a couple bucks in the corner with my big suit. Yeah. Not even care about like figuring out why am I Shazam, what powers do I need to do, like what is my duty, like anything like that, like the typical hero stuff. Which was fun. It was light. It was fun. It was good to see like the reality of that. Probably is exactly what a kid would do.
Yeah.
Like he's just fucking dicking around.
That part was fun. But the thing that was a little jarring was Zac Levi did an awesome comedic job, but Billy Batson was more dramatic. So it didn't seem like there was the same character, even though they were.
Right.
Okay, when he was the hero, he was so like
outgoing
and audacious,
and maybe that's what happens when you put a mask on. You know, your inhibitions go away. But at the same time, I see what you're saying.
But Billy Batson wasn't like that. He was just more glum and gloomy.
Yeah, Billy was never not confident about himself. Or he just was the type of kid that just didn't give a fuck, and he was like, you know, whatever. Right. Well, this guy is now an outgoing, confident. But even
I'm just like even in conversation, Billy calm was toned fine, but Zac Levi was like everything was enunciated. Like, oh my god, like I don't know, what powers? What are you talking about? What? You know? But Billy Batson as himself, he wasn't even talking about Shazam. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. He was just normal. So I was like, God, that doesn't really fit there for me. But you know, overall, like I said earlier, you know, worth watching at least once, maybe twice. I get the whole kid angle. It was fun. It was funny. So
yeah.
I was happy with the money that I spent to see it because it was entertaining. And once you evaluate it in the lens of, hey, this is a movie for kids. You know, it was pure fun, pure entertainment. Absolutely, I think you hit it on the nail on the head when you said it's a breath of fresh air. In regards to it's a breath of fresh air for the DCU. This is a win, even though there's all these flaws.
It is 100%.
All these gripes. This is a win for the DCU because we know they've been hurting for some time.
It's not Suicide Squad.
Yeah, it's not Suicide Squad. It's a step in the right direction, but they've got a lot of work to do to get their shit together.
This is the rank: Wonder Woman, Shazam, a whole bunch of fucking crap, and then the rest of the DC movies. That's how I fucking see it.
With the Chris Nolan movies being all the way up.
Well,
Nolan
we're not even talking about
DCU.
that. Dark Knight and all that type of stuff. That's a whole different conversation.
Wonder Woman being number one for sure.
Absolutely.
Wonder Woman is number one, which by the way I saw recently. Fucking awesome.
Once
Again, we saw it again.
Warner Brothers Studios gets their shit together and they focus on making a good movie, I think the money will follow. They have it.
And you know why this one was
backwards.
good? This one was. Now, when I say good, I mean for the reasons that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because they finally stopped trying to copy Marvel. They didn't try to do the same feel as Marvel. I felt like this was actually like their own feel and their own vibes. And whenever they try to overdo a movie and make it all like Marvel style, it's blown.
It's
like
their own
Suicide
feel
Squad.
because they're implementing the character in reality. That's what they're transplanting this superhero character and putting him in reality, and that's what you feel like. You feel like, hey, this is a superhero in the real world because you get the feel of, hey, this is a superhero in Philadelphia. He's dealing with real person problems. You don't feel that way in the Marvel movies. You feel, hey, the Marvel movies, it's its own experience, its own universe. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so out of 10, Amanda, where do you place Shazam on your
I would say 5.5.
5.5?
5.5, 6. Because it was fun, it was entertaining, which I think any basis of any movie should be, is just coming out of a movie with some entertainment coming out of it and getting your money's worth. But when we're talking about the reality and the scope of epicness of movies and power and impact on an audience and how I feel about the characters and the hero itself, the villain, the ultimate scope of it, and then judging like convenience and the way it was shot, I think that's how it builds up movies. For me, like a Wonder Woman, like I said earlier, Wonder Woman to me is a 9.5 out of 10. I think that movie's awesome to me. I think it's great. I fucking love Diana. I love what she's about. You know their story. Action's awesome. There's not really any plot holes. There's not really any issues. There's no convenience. Ares is Ares. He puts himself exactly where he needs to be. Like that's a 9.5 out of 10. For Shazam, 5.5. It's lighthearted. It's fun. It's entertaining. Breath of fresh air. Change of pace. But ultimately, it's full of cheesiness. I don't really like Billy Batson. And the villain, like we said, underwhelming. But much plot holes. It's a young teen movie. And I'm just not a young teen anymore.
Got it. For me, not too much to add from what you already said. I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 purely for the sense of looking at it for what it is. It was good. It was fun. For me, 6 out of 10.
I'm going to say 6 out of 10. Definitely worth seeing. Glad I did. Great comedy, and Zac Levi killed it himself, I think. Yeah, the negatives are the villain. Don't really know much about the other characters yet, but at the same time, you know, it's a good building block for future stuff to come. So I think it was a good start for what could be a great franchise for DC. Cool.
All right, guys, so what do you guys think? Let us know down below in the comments.